Welcome to today's video where we will be discussing one of the most notorious traps in chess, the scholar's mate. If you're tired of falling for this quick checkmate, then you are in the right place, because we will be sharing with you some valuable tips and strategies on how to brutally punish this aggressive opening and gain the upper hand from the very start. So sit back, grab your chessboard, and let's get started. The scholar's mate usually starts off with the moves e4, e5, and white will play a very aggressive second move, queen to h5. The whole idea of this queen to h5 move is white will now threaten to capture our pawn on e5 check, and it also sets up the 4-move checkmate with queen takes f7 after white plays bishop c4 on the next move. So let's take a look at some few moves that you have to be very careful of as black. Many beginners who don't know how to defend against this line, they might play a move like pawn to g6, trying to attack the white queen. However, this is a serious blunder because white can now just play queen takes e5 check, and he will win our rook on the next move. So, for example, we're forced to block with a piece, and white will just capture our rook, and it's already game over in just 4 moves because we're already a whole rook down. Besides that, you might play a move like knight to f6, trying to threaten the queen and kick it away. However, this is also a tiny mistake because white can just capture our pawn on e5 with check, and white will just gain a pawn for free. So in many cases, we will play knight to c6 to defend our pawn on e5, and knight to c6 is also the best move in this position. White will continue with bishop to c4, which is the scholar's mate, or known as the 4-move checkmate as well, because white is threatening threatening to checkmate on f7 on the next move. So all you have to do is to defend against the threats of your opponent. So the threat here is very clear. White wants to capture our f7 pawn with the queen on the next move. So all we have to do is either to block the queen from capturing our pawn or to defend our pawn on f7 with another piece. Most beginners will make the mistake of playing knight to f6, trying to capture the queen, but this is just a blunder because you blunder checkmate in one move. So instead of playing knight to f6, you could play queen to e7 or queen to f6 because both queen moves protects the pawn on f7.